everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. I made this mini album and a lot of you had asked for a tutorial. So I'm going to show you how I made it, and I'm going to make another one at the same time. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to recreate this book, but we're going to use a different color palette. This was done in the Pastelween, using those digitals from that collection. We're going to use ones that are more orange and black, more traditional Halloween colors. Not that this isn't gorgeous. So let's see what we have. We have, there's glitter on here that's done in sort of a rose gold, so it's a toned down orange, if you will. The cover has really spooky imagery in the background. Then we have this bat, this gorgeous Halloween cat, a pink and black striped pumpkin. This cat has a pumpkin in her hand, and I don't know if you can see, maybe you can hear, but it's 3 layers. So we will use some dimension. You know, it's so hard to see dimension when you're looking at it from on camera. We've got this little dangle, so I'm going to show you how to make a dangle. Keep in mind, I don't do this very often, so might not do it the way you're used to. And then inside we've got a little pocket. We've got a little element here. And then we've got a ring. I mean, it looks like a little album from the front, but you open it up and you find that it's a tag book. So we've got all these tags that are held on with this ring that is popped through on the back. Isn't that gorgeous back? So the first tag is a house, and this is also dimensional. There's 3 layers. You know, I'm just going to briefly go through this because I've already done a walkthrough. I don't think I remembered showing this in the walkthrough. Did I? I don't know. So it's going to have some of the same elements, but not all. And then there's the back. So let's get started. To start, we're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5 by 7 and 1 piece that is 1.5 by 7. You know, I normally already have the double-sided adhesive on here. Now, you could just glue these onto our cardstock, but I like to use the double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So this is 4-inch double-sided adhesive, like score tape. That's the brand name is score tape, and we're not using that. And I just simply put down these like right next to each other. This one I'm going to do right here. And then I'll grab a straight edge. And this is my little cutting board. I don't like to cut onto this surface. I'm trying to keep it nice and neat and clean for the camera. So I'll do that. And then I'm going to turn this over. And to fill in the gap, I have 1-inch tape. It's going to leave a little bit of a gap here, but you know what? That's okay. Pull that off. And I'm running out of tape. I only have a little bit left on here. You know what? I'm going to just use this and supplement it with some glue. There we go. All right, that's it for that roll. Now, generally, I'll either use the 6-inch rolls or this 4-inch roll, or sometimes a combination of both. While they're all together, I'm taking my bone folder and I'm burnishing real well. And then I will cut this. And there we go. So that is how I add my double-sided adhesive to my chipboard. Now, like I said, this one doesn't have, it's not completely filled with double-sided adhesive. That's okay. going to supplement it with glue. So let me put those aside for a second. All right, I have 2 pieces of 8.5 by 8.5 cardstock, and I'm going to tape these together, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to wrap my covers. Another piece of score tape, that time it's the 1/4 inch. Peel the backing off, and I'm just going to line it up on my surface because it's got the grids on it. And I put where I have the 1/4 inch score tape just over this blue line, and it's also on the 2 inch line. It doesn't matter which one. And then I'll put this one so it's lined up on the blue line and on that 2 inch line. And that gives you sort of a straight piece. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, I'm going to peel off the backing here. And as I said, I'm going to supplement. We'll add just a little bit of glue. So this glue is from the Art Glitter Company, so otherwise known as Art Glitter Glue. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it just about at the halfway mark. It looks like the halfway mark is here, but it's actually a 1/4 inch away on the other side. So you see? So that's where I'm going to put this. There'll be 3/4 inch on both sides, top and bottom. I will take my 1/4 inch double-sided adhesive and put it right up next to that chipboard. And now, since this is my best chance of burnishing it, I will go ahead and burnish that. And I'll also peel off the backing of this. And I will peel off the double-sided adhesive here. Now, I don't feel like I need to add any extra glue here. It's not that big of a deal. So I'll put this, I'm overlapping that 1/4 inch tape to leave about a little more than 1/8 inch showing. I'm not quite at the halfway mark. And then I'll push that down. Peel off this. Peel off that. And do the same with this on the other side. And there we go. I'm using my bone folder to burnish. And then I'm going to use the edge of the bone folder to find where the edge of my chipboard is. And just push it down a little. All right, you can see where the chipboard is underneath. Now I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut right across, leaving about 1/8 inch. Don't want too much less. Don't need too much more. About 1/8 inch in the corner from where the chipboard is and where I cut the paper. If you cut it too short, you can just take this and glue it on here, or take a black marker and just color it in. All right. And I'm just going to use my surface to bend the paper just a little bit more. I'll take my glue, go right along the edge of the chipboard, go around the perimeter, and fill it in, zigzag it, and burnish. All right, there's one. Now I'll do the other long side along the edge around the outside, and we'll zigzag a little. All right, now I'm going to take my bone folder and push down at the corners just to make sure there's not going to be any, so when you fold it, it doesn't stick out and be a little corner. All right, right along the edge of the chipboard, around the perimeter, and zigzag. Take my bone folder, fold it over, and there we go. Fold it down. And there we go. So now I'm going to take my bone folder and using this blunt end, just push down, and we'll help get that crease. And I'm moving my cover as I push down. And there we go. We've got a nice cover on the book. Now I'm going to take a piece of leftover, and I'm going to cut this down. So this is 5 by 7. So I'm going to cut this down to just about 7, not exactly, like just a smidgen under 7. And it happens to be 4 inches wide, which is fine. I'm going to add glue here. I want to make sure I cover this real well, although it's not going to hold anything. Usually when it's the spine, that's where I put the hinge or the pages, but here it's just going to be for decoration. It's just going to look pretty. So I'll add glue over here and add glue here. I'm not going into that crevice, well, not intentionally. We got glue there, and I'm going to go around the perimeter of this. And doing my best to center it. It doesn't have to be perfect, though. I'll put it right there at the edge. I'll use my bone folder to burnish. And then while the book is flat, I'm just going to go back and forth many times, and each time pushing a little harder to get this where the crevice is. Eventually, and then I'm going to lift this book after a little while, and this is going to stick to that double-sided adhesive we put next to the chipboard way back in the beginning. So there's that, and I'll do the same with this. Okay, so there we go with the cover of the book. All right, now this is how I'm going to decorate the book. I've cut 12 pieces that are 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. Let's take a minute to look at these gorgeous papers. This is from Pixie Dust Files. I printed them off of my home computer. My computer is nothing special. I had to look to see what it's called. It's called an HP Smart Tank 6001. It uses the ink with the tanks, which is why I got it. So it does do color printing more economically than what I used to have. It's not the world's best printer. I chose it because it'll print on, I think, up to 120 weight cardstock. I also chose it because it's lightweight, and I need to have lightweight because I travel in my RV, and weight is an issue in my RV. Um, and it also can copy and fax, which, since my business is on the road, I needed to do that as well. Uh, I'm learning. I'm learning about using digital, so I am no expert. I will tell you the one thing I've learned so far is it's the paper that helps make a difference. I really don't have anything to compare it to because I didn't keep any of the bad copies, but I will just tell you it's the paper that makes the difference. This happened to be presentation paper in a matte finish, and it gives you this almost velvety black. It is just gorgeous. So anyhow, I cut 12 of these in that same size, and then I cut 6 pieces of 110 weight cardstock in 4 by 6. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these. It might make it too thick. I am not sure. Let's look at the paper. So there's that. And I tell you, I use the orange and blue collection. It's also got the black and the beige. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't know if you can see the detail on here. You probably can't, but let me tell you, it's got a lot of detail. Doesn't that look like it's almost popping off of the paper? Well done. Well done. That's pretty. Now, some of these I took with backgrounds that are like this could go either way, which is important in a tag, I, I guess, because you'll have the tag upside down at some point. Now, it's not to say I'm not going to put an element on here that can only go one way. I mean, I probably will, but that's what I chose for some of the backgrounds and some of the papers. All right, let me show you where I am and what I'm doing. So I put the front cover on, and I'm going to do the back cover with you. I'm going to move that out of the way. So the back cover is comprised of the glitter and this 4.5 by 6.5 piece of pattern paper. Now I've cut out circles so I don't waste the background because look, you're not going to see any of it. I also put on some double-sided adhesive on the back of my pattern paper because to me, glue doesn't really stick to this glitter paper that well. I used 1/4 inch there, and then I used this, I forgot I had it, 1/8 of an inch double-sided adhesive. This was from scrapbook.com, which I did notice, I did look, and it is 40 to 60% off this week. So if you're watching this when the video is new, go check it out. Now I am going to add glue, even though it's not the best at keeping anything together. It's not going to hurt anything. The glue plus the double-sided adhesive is surely going to keep this on. So I'm going to do my best to center it. We've got about 1/4 of an inch on each side showing. I wanted that wide matte margin because I love this glitter. It's not a real bright orange, so it'll go real well. I'm going to turn it upside down and burnish, and as you can see, oops, I already put double-sided adhesive on the back of the glitter paper. So I'm just going to distribute the glue and make sure that the double-sided adhesive is going to stick, and now we've got a good sturdy piece. So I'll pull my book together back to us and show you that I already did put on some ribbon, and I did a couple of different ribbons. I have some black seam binding, I've got some black fun fur, and I've got some orange. It's not a real bright orange again, but it's fun fur. So I put that on the back cover. I glued a little and added some double-sided adhesive to keep it down. I'll peel off that backing. All right, so the way I want this is I want this closest to the spine. So I'll peel off this double-sided adhesive. I just put one piece on and just sort of bent it at the corners. It's easier to peel off that way. And then this is going to be paper to paper, so I know the glue will help stay. I just added that double-sided adhesive just to help the process. Right, do I have it right? Nope, that's upside down. I'm moving that. I will have about 1/8 of an inch top, bottom, side to side of the cover showing. Now I got that on. Pretty happy with it. So I'll burnish. There we go. Great. So our front and back covers are done. Now let's do the spine. So I've already put my decorative paper on my glitter paper and just cut it, it consecutively, 1/8 of an inch smaller and then 1/8 of an inch smaller on both sides. I have this Tim Holtz a brad, and it's a brad, and then it's got this decorative piece, then it's got a ring on it, and it's what really will hold the dangle. I attached to that piece of chain. Attached to the chain was this charm that I had in my stash. It's a little bat. And then I added more chain attached to a jump ring. And attached to that is I put this on a long pin. I forget what they call it in the jewelry world, but a couple of little beads, then this pumpkin bead, a black bead with this cap on it, and a couple more beads. And then there's that pin bottom to hold all that in. Again, I'm not a jewelry maker, so I didn't want to do this in front of the camera, and y'all be saying, what the heck are you doing? All right, let me put this on about 1/2 an inch from the top centered. And then I'll put this little brad thing. I'll link that in the description box because it really is a valuable thing to attach anything to your mini albums. Okay. Oops. So there we go. There's that. That'll be fine. And then I'll attach this with glue just to give me some maneuverability. I'm going to add glue to that around that brad, just try to keep it in place. Center this. And there we go. I'm happy with the placement of that. Make sure I distribute the glue all around this brad. Once it dries, that will hold on real well. And there we've got the beginning of our cover decorated. All right, let's go to the inside. It sort of looks like copper, but it actually was orange. It was in a pack of different color metallic cardstock, and this was orange. But copper would work, but I didn't have any. So I will go ahead and add this. I did have to add 2 pieces together because I was running out of this. But once you put it down, you can't tell. In fact, I'm trying to look to see where I added them. I couldn't tell you. So the outside has the glitter, the inside has the metallic paper. I had to add extra layers because these I cut small to fit, and then I also used some black cardstock on here, so you'll see a smaller border of the metallic paper here. Okay, now that that's done, before I go any further, this is the back. I'm going to put an eyelet in the back for where we're going to put our ring. And this is the front, here's the back. There's some white showing here, so I'm going to ink that up. Yeah, I'll glue it here. And then go ahead and punch. And then I'll add this to the inside. And I have an eyelet. Changing my mind. I'm going to put it on the outside. There we go. And then turn the setting on here. And there we go. So I've got the brad, the orange glitter circle, and the back you don't see the brad or the eyelet. It's just the glitter circle. So next I'll grab my ring and put that on there. To put this on, this is the inside. I'm going to go from the outside and put that on. And I'll just close it for now because we don't need it. So now we'll get together all of our tags and I'll show you how we're going to decorate that. All right, to save on time, I'm going to give you the recipe. I'm going to tell you what's going to go in each tag, and then I'm going to do it off camera and show you the finished result. So for the first page, and I think it's going to be the first page, I may change my mind. I've got this. This is actually going to be the background for the house. This is going to be on the back side of the page. That is just gorgeous. And then here's the house. And then this is one of those copper pieces I cut out, you know, saving. I inked it and embossed it to make it look like a moon. It is not perfect. I'm sure if you have those moon stencils, that would work much better. But I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put this large house down. I fussy cut this out of a second piece, just like it. I'm going to pop this up on dimensions. I probably will cut open this door so it opens, and then I'll glue that down with the moon behind it. I know I'm going to cover this rose, and that's okay. It sort of looks cool. And then this will go on the back. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's the finished product, except I do need to make a hole, and I should have moved this down a little further, but I'll do what I did in the last one. So for this one, I actually took a little piece, I made a tab punch and put it in and just extended it a little bit because otherwise this house top would have been there. Another thing I had done is in the picture there was pumpkins, and I glued some more pumpkins so they were dimensional. See, the door opens. And then I glued something to the top round piece. There is and a little element here. There isn't something like that here, but I think that moon just sort of adds a little bit of extra oomph to it. So that is, oh, and then the back side, so it'll lift like this. And then there you see the beautiful butterfly. So that is basically page one done. All right, second page, here's what I'm going to have. This will be on the back. I'm not sure what I'm going to add to this yet, but that'll be on the back. This will be on the front. I have a little piece of ribbon. I have two cats to choose from, and I think I'm going to go with this one. Even though this is pink and I really wanted more of an orange and black feel to it, and this was from Cats and Cakes. I don't like how I cut that out, and I don't like the cake on it. It makes it too cheerful. even though the cat's not smiling. And then I have this bat, because there's this bat on here, which is gorgeous, but I wanted a little dimension, so I'll have another bat. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a tag shape. So let me do all that, and we'll show you what is done. Okay, so here's the finished tag. I put this kitty cat a little off center with her feet down onto the ribbon, just so it sort of connects. And then I switched to a smaller bat. I didn't want to cover this one up with the other bat, so I just switched to one I printed just a little bit smaller. And then the back side is that, which really I thought I'm just going to leave that alone. If you wanted to add a photo to it, a small one, that would look fabulous right there. So I'm just going to leave that alone. So that's number 2. Okay, we're using an actual tag. This one says poison. I printed a second one out and fussy cut it. I'm going to pop this up and put it right on top of there. Before I put this down onto the tag shape that is just a little bit smaller or bigger than that, I'm going to add a little bit of this ribbon to the bottom here so it hangs out. And this will go on the back so you could do some journaling there. So let me glue that and show you what we got. Okay, just as I discussed, I popped up the poison, put this underneath so it pops up a little bit on the back, and punched the hole in it. Now, if you wanted to, you could have printed a second one of the mushrooms and popped that up as well, had I thought of that ahead of time, and I guess I still can do it. But the mushroom's just darling. So there is. All right, this one's pretty straightforward. This will go on the back. This will go on the front. I have this little bit of doily. I'm going to turn it this way. Not doily, it's lace. That's going to go down. I'm going to put this doll on one side and the pumpkin on the other. It actually was pink. I inked it a little bit with some orange distress. And then I'll add the 31 up here. I might put it on something else for layering, but that's pretty much it. And that's it. Pretty simple. I didn't do much. I did add a little bit of glitter underneath that 31 just to add a little something to it. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Couple more steps to this one, but still it's pretty easy. I'm going to make a pocket. So this will go, do I want this one? I know, one of these will go on the front, one will go on the back. I'm going to glue this onto this paper and make a cheetah pocket, meaning I'm just going to glue it on 3 sides and glue it down onto there. She's going to be the base layer. Then I'm going to fussy cut around, or I might use a circle punch around there, and that'll go on there, probably popped up a little bit. And then for inside the pocket, we have these. I just printed them out. They are 1.5-ish, and so one's going to be the front, one's going to be the back. I'll put a little string on it, and that's that. Okay, so just as expected, here's the little tag that goes in the pocket. Here is, I did use a circle punch to punch that out on top of the copper, and it is dimensional. So that is the next one. All right, so I have this image which didn't come from a purchased file. This came from a freebie. If you're a member of Pixie Dust Files Facebook group, every once in a while there's some freebies, and this was one of them. I cut this out on my Cricut, and then I cut a shadow out. As I'm talking about this, I'm thinking, I don't know that I want her in this sort of spooky thing. So I don't know that I'm going to do that. I was going to use this. I was going to cut this a little bit to make it a tuck spot, and then this was going to be in the back. But I might go a different direction. So just wait a second. I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so this is what I did. Totally changed my idea. There was this adorable cutout. I cut around here, sunk that down, popped this part up so it gives you a lot of dimension. And then this is where I think I went overboard. In the image, were some, it looked like glitter dots. I don't have glitter dots. I don't have gold glitter, believe it or not. So I had some crystals that I added to there. It doesn't look so bad on here. I feel like it just took it over the top. To make sure it would go on, I had this hole punch. Um, Let me show you. It's like this. I've had it in my stash for a while. Anyhow, I punch that, fold it in half, punch another hole in it, so that's how it will stay on it. It's a really sort of hauntingly beautiful image, and I thought that would go better than this. I think you'll agree. All right, so the front inside cover of the pink one has this element, and I put it on some of the glitter paper and offset it. I put it over to the left side, and then there's a couple of tags in that pocket. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to use, this was one of the pages that I had extra, and I just loved it. So I fussy cut it. I'm going to ink around the edge. I'm going to add it to the page and just glue it on the sides. And then I've got a couple of these cut aparts. I'm going to put on some black cardstock and make that a pocket. Probably going to ink these up so it's more orange rather than pink, because that's what I was going for. But I love these images, so, you know, got to do what you got to do. Let me show you what it looks like when all done. All right, so here's what I've done. I've got this pocket. I've got this image. There's the back side. I have this one. I may or may not add more things to the pocket. But now I'm going to go ahead and put my images on. I'll figure out what, or my tags, I'll figure out what order I'm going to put them in. And then I also need to do something with the front cover. All right, let me show you what I've done with the cover and the order of the tags. So the cover, I used this cat. This was from Cats and Cakes digital file from Pixie Dust Files. There was a cake here. I took the cake off and I put a pumpkin on. This cat has like a very intense look. I thought it was perfect. I added this that says something wicked this way comes, and a couple of the moths. I was going to add the bats, but I've used the bats a lot and I haven't used the moths or butterflies. So that is what I did. Now we'll untie it. And the inside front cover, so I added this gal on top of another circle, on top of the glitter, on top of this image. And then in the pocket, we've got this another intense cat. This little pumpkin, I just had cut it out. And then there's the orange one, and I had a pink one, and I just couldn't resist. So those are in the pocket. And then here we have the house with the moon. Love the moon. I think that adds a lot to the house. It makes it pop. And yet, remember, this one had roses underneath. You don't even know that. You don't even look at it. Then here is the opposite side, which is a butterfly. And I decided to leave the backs of this blank. In the other one, if you remember, there was pockets and all sorts of things. And I thought, I'm just going to leave it blank. If you wanted to, you could use it for photos. Here is the poisonous mushroom. The back is blank. Here is a kitty cat with a bat and the lace. There's the back. Here's this doll with a pumpkin and 31. This one has a tag in the pocket. I could actually even add something else to the pocket if I wanted to. It's got that popped up. And then here is this gal. She is popped up. If you wanted to use it for photos, you could put a photo underneath inside here. But I wouldn't. I would rather put my photos here. And then I just left that blank because it makes a nice area. And that is what I have for you. That shows you how to make this tag book. It's the same one that I made using the Pastelween collection. So they are the same book. This is just the tutorial. So that's what I have. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. 50% of my viewers don't subscribe. Really? Go ahead and subscribe. And thanks so much and have a fabulous day.